Hi everybody. In my last class, I discussed up to the acid catalyzed dehydration of alcohol. Today I will start from the oxidation of alcohol. This is one chemical properties. First we discuss the oxidation of primary alcohol. This one is ethanol. If we add K2Cr2O7 and H2SO4, concentrate H2SO4, and this is the most commonly used oxidizing reagent, and this reagent is known as Jones reagent. Here this alcohol will first oxidize into aldehyde. In the next step, the same reagent will again react with this aldehyde, because aldehydes are highly unstable, and that will form corresponding carboxylic acid. Now in this reaction, this type of reaction we also can use potassium permanganate. If we use potassium permanganate, KMnO4, both we can use that acid catalyzed or base catalyzed. If we use acidic KMnO4, that will also first produce corresponding aldehyde, and then there will be formation with the same reagent, that KMnO4 will react with this aldehyde and forming the corresponding acid. Now if we use the KMnO4 in alkaline condition, alkaline KMnO4, then first it will produce the corresponding aldehyde, or we can think about that it will produce corresponding acid salt. Then it will produce the acid salt, O minus, corresponding, if we are taking sodium hydroxide, then it will be the Na plus. Then after the addition of acid, it will become the carboxylic acid. Now here we only discuss the mechanism of the Jones reaction. That is not in your syllabus, but you have to understand how it is happening. Actually, whenever you are taking that potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, it will react with sulfuric acid, forming chromic acid, H2CrO4. Now this chromic acid will react with the alcohol. So we are taking this alcohol that will react with that chromic acid, OH Cr double bond O, and in the first step there will be the elimination of water. So this water will be eliminated and formation of chromate ester. And this chromate ester is not so much stable, this is unstable. In next step, what will happen here? If we write the hydrogen, then we can understand the mechanism better. That water will accept this proton, it will go here, and we will get the corresponding alcohol. Plus Cr minus. Then it will take one proton from this acid and forming these spaces. Here chromium in the +6 state. Now next step, what will happen? This aldehyde will react with water. So water will attack here. So then there will be formation of O minus and OH2 plus. So this proton will abstracted by this O minus or release of this proton. Formation of gem diol type of compound, and this is not so much stable. In next step, this will again react with this chromic acid. CH3C H OH OH plus and there will be elimination of one atom, and it will form the chromate ester. Here we are writing the which, here H, Cr, now another water molecule will come here to abstract this proton, and it will go here, and finally we will get CH3C OH double bond O plus Cr minus double bond O double bond OH, and it will abstract one proton from H2 plus, or will take Cr double bond O H2Cr also. Now in this way we are getting the corresponding acid. So we have started from ethyl alcohol form acetaldehyde by oxidation with this Jones reagent, and finally it will form the corresponding acid, that means acetic acid. So hope you can understand the mechanism. Next we will discuss another very important reagent for oxidation. That reagent is called Collins reagent, and if we take the corresponding alcohol and if we add this Collins reagent is chromium trioxide dot twice pyridine. It is used in the solvent DCM. DCM is dichloromethanes. Then it will form aldehyde. Now why this is required? If we want to prepare aldehyde from alcohol, so if we use that the previous reaction, that means potassium dichromate and sulfuric acid or KMnO4, we cannot stop the reaction up to the aldehyde. So there will be further oxidation of aldehyde and we will get the acid. But if we want to stop the reaction at the aldehyde stage, then we have to use this important reagent, that is Collins reagent, chromium trioxide twice pyridine and DCM. Pyridine is a heterocyclic compound. I think all of you know its structure. This is the pyridine molecule. So that ring containing one nitrogen, aromatic ring containing one nitrogen. Next we will discuss another very important oxidizing reagent for alcohols. That reagent is called PCC or pyridinium chlorochromate. The reagent name is PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate, and it also oxidizes the alcohol to aldehyde. And here also there will be no further oxidation to acid. So we can stop this reaction at the aldehyde stage. Now what is the structure of this reagent? This one is pyridine. So this pyridine is we are using with chromium. We are taking in HCl and chromium dioxide, and this is called pyridinium chlorochromate. And here also we are using the solvent DCM, dichloromethane. Dichloromethane is CH2Cl2. So here also we are getting the corresponding alcohol. Next, if we think about the secondary or tertiary alcohol, secondary alcohol will produce ketone. So if we use the Jones reagent, if we take OH and K2Cr2O7 and concentrated H2SO4, then we will get the corresponding ketone. But if we use some vigorous condition, that means if we increase the temperature, then what will happen? This acetone will release one carbon dioxide and forming acetic acid. So this is the vigorous condition or prolonged oxidation will give you this. So generally alcohol, secondary alcohol will give the ketone. But if we take tertiary alcohol, if we add the same reagent, so here chance of oxidation is very low, the rate is very low. But if we add high temperature and pressure, then after prolonged oxidation, there will be formation of this acetone molecule plus carbon dioxide plus water. So in this way, we can easily understand what type of alcohol is present. In case of primary alcohol, again I am telling, we are getting the carboxylic acid easily, but in case of secondary alcohol, we are getting ketone easily, and in case of tertiary alcohol, oxidation is very difficult. Okay, so drastic condition is required. Next we will discuss another reagent, that is we are using copper and heat. That means if we take the OH and take copper metal and we have to supply the heat around 573 Kelvin, then it will form the corresponding aldehyde and hydrogen. If we take the secondary alcohol like this isopropyl alcohol, here also copper at the same temperature, it will produce corresponding ketone plus hydrogen gas. But if we take tertiary alcohol and if we add the same reagent, at same condition if we apply, that means copper and 573 Kelvin, that will produce the corresponding alkene plus there will be elimination of water. Now this reaction, the above reaction we can use for the distinguish between different types of alcohols, primary alcohol, secondary or tertiary. In case of primary alcohol, it will give aldehyde. In case of secondary alcohol, it will give ketone, and tertiary alcohol will give us alkene. Next we will discuss the Lucas test. That is very important for your board exam also. Lucas test. Alcohols of different classes can be differentiated on the basis of their reaction rates with concentrated HCl and zinc chloride mixture 1:1, and this reagent is called Lucas reagent. So what is the reagent? Concentrated HCl and zinc chloride 1:1 mixture. Here we have to write anhydrous. Now if we take primary alcohol, this is 1 degree alcohol. or primary alcohol. Here if we give concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride, that will produce the corresponding chloride, but we need drastic condition. Actually there will be no PPT. There will be no PPT. But if we use drastic condition, then there will be formation of corresponding chloride. But here, if we think about the time, around we can 15 minutes. If we take 15 minutes also, then there will be no PPT. But if we take secondary alcohol, the isopropyl alcohol, we use the same reagent as Lucas reagent. Then there will be formation of corresponding chloride. Here precipitation or cloudiness within 5 minutes. Within 5 to 10 minutes. But if we take tertiary alcohol, if we use the same Lucas reagent, then we will get the corresponding tertiary butyl chloride instantaneously, means at once. So, by using this reagent, we can easily differentiate between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. In case of primary alcohol, we are not getting any PPT very quickly. If we use that same concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride, if we wait for 15 minutes also, there will be no cloudiness or no PPT. But in case of secondary alcohol, if we add Lucas reagent, then there will be formation of precipitate or cloudiness within 5 to 10 minutes. But the rate of reaction is very fast in case of tertiary alcohol. So in tertiary alcohol, if we use the Lucas reagent, then at once there will be precipitation or cloudiness and it will form tertiary butyl chloride. Now what is happening here, if we think about the mechanism of this reaction, then we can easily understand. Actually, in normal condition, when we are using the zinc chloride and concentrated HCl, then in case of tertiary alcohol, here in zinc chloride, zinc is in +2 state, so it can easily accept the electron from, or oxygen can easily donate the electron to zinc. So then there will be formation of this type of compound. Now what will happen? We know that tertiary carbon is very much stable, so this will break and there will be formation of more stable tertiary carbon. Now as we are using HCl, so in medium there is Cl minus, so Cl minus will attack both sides of this lobe and we get the corresponding tertiary butyl chloride. So this is one SN1 type reaction. But when we are taking the secondary, the cation will be like this, and when we are taking the primary, the cation is this one. That means CH3CH2 plus. So we know that tertiary carbon is very much stable. So in case of tertiary butyl alcohol, we get the corresponding halide very quickly. But secondary, the rate is slow, and primary practically there will be no reaction in this condition. If we use drastic condition, then that is different, but in this condition it is not reactive. So in this way we can easily differentiate among the primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol by using Lucas reagent. Next we will discuss the use of alcohol. We have already discussed, okay, in my previous class. Again I am telling, alcohols we can use as fuel, and ethanol all we are using as a solvent, and methanol we can use as antifreeze for automobile radiators, and in case of hand sanitizers we are also using ethanol. Actually we are using mainly isopropanol. If isopropanol is not available, then we can use this ethanol also. Now ethanol can be used in thermometers or in spirit levels, and we know that by using this alcohol by esterification reaction we can prepare esters. So these esters that we are preparing from alcohol can be used in perfumes, or in cold countries that alcohols are also mainly ethanol. Methanol is poisonous. We are using as beverages also. So hope all of you can understand this chapter. We have already completed this alcohol part, and today I discuss two simple conversion. One is methanol to ethanol, another is ethanol to methanol. So one is step of reaction. Suppose if we want to convert methanol to ethanol, then we have to increase the number of carbon atoms. This is called step of reaction. So here we are adding HI first. HI will produce CH3I. Next here we will add that potassium cyanide, KCN, or substitution reaction, it will produce CH3CN. In next step we will hydrolyze or we can give lithium aluminum hydride. Lithium aluminum hydride, to reduce this cyanide group, it will form CH3, CH2, NH2. That is ethylamine. Now in this ethylamine, if we use NaNO2 and dilute acid, NaNO2 and dilute HCl, that means it is producing nitrous acid, and from here we will get the corresponding ethyl alcohol. So we have started from ethanol, and where we have added one carbon, this step we have added one carbon by cyanide addition. This is an SF2 type of reaction, and finally by lithium aluminum hydride reduction we are converting cyanide to amine, and finally amine to alcohol. So in this way we can increase the number of carbon atom. So this is also the conversion of methanol to ethanol. Now how to step down reaction? How to do the step down reaction? That means from ethyl alcohol to methyl alcohol or methanol. So here we have to decrease the one carbon atom. First we have to oxidize this alcohol to the corresponding acid. We can use KMNO4. Then it will produce CH3COOH. And here if we add soda lime, you know that mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide mixture, and if we apply heat, that will release one carbon dioxide gas and forming methane. Now in this methane, if we give chlorine and diffuse sunlight, then that will form CH3Cl, methyl chloride. And in methyl chloride, if we use aqueous KOH, that will give you SN2 reaction, and there will be formation of methyl alcohol. So in this way, we can also prepare methyl alcohol. Now, if anybody asks you how to chemically distinguish between ethyl alcohol and methyl alcohol, we already discussed in polyhalogen compounds that ethyl alcohol in presence of iodine and NaOH will give iodoform. So only the alcohol, that ethanol, can give positive iodoform test in presence of iodine and NaOH, and there will be yellow PPT of CHI3 or iodine. But if we do the same reaction or perform the same reaction in case of methanol, there will be no ureoPPT. So by iodoform test we can easily tell also that whether the alcohol is methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol. So today up to this, and next day we will start the other parts of this chapter, that phenols and ethers. Thank you very much. Stay home and stay safe.